Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alisha, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. Let's get to your first question this week. First question this week comes from Karina. Hi Karina. Karina says, what's the difference between put off and turn off? Nice question. Okay, let's talk about turn off first. Probably a lot of you know the phrasal verb to turn off. We use this a lot for machines, for electrical devices, when we want to take the power from on to off. So for example, when we say turn off the light, we mean turn the power off or remove the power from the light, right? So to turn something off means to take the power away from it. We might say turn off the computer or turn off your phone and so on. So when we want to talk about powering something down, we use the verb turn off. There's another situation in which we use turn off. It's a little less common than the power down turn off, but it's when we're excited about something and then we learn some new information or we hear some news or something like that and we are no longer as excited about that thing. So for example, if you hear about a great new restaurant but you learn that maybe the staff are all really rude, you might say, oh, I wanted to go to that restaurant but I heard about all of the staff problems and now I'm turned off. So this turn off is often used in romantic situations, but it can also be used to talk about daily life situations as well, where your energy or your enthusiasm for something goes down. So you can kind of think of it as like your personal power, your personal like emotional power kind of goes down after you learn something like unpleasant or something maybe is not so good about the situation. So we use this a lot in romantic connections. When you learn like the other person has a bad habit, you might say, I liked that girl before, or I liked that guy before, but now I'm a little turned off, which means you're not so excited about that person. Let's compare this to put off. We have a couple uses of put off. The first one that is probably the most common is the one that means to procrastinate. So when we don't want to do a task and we say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it this weekend, whatever, we can describe that with the verb to put off. We can say, I'll put it off until tomorrow, or don't put that off until next week. It's important. So to put something off means to push it to a later date, to decide to do something in the future, not to deal with something now. This is one use, probably the most common use of put off. We also have a use of put off that is a little bit similar to turn off. The use of turn off that I talked about before that relates to no longer enjoying something very much is very similar to this use of put off. So sometimes we use put off to talk about our excitement for something going down after we learn about something unpleasant or not so good. So we could use the restaurant example from before, like, I'm a little put off by that restaurant. I heard their staff's not super nice. So the difference between turn off and put off here is that turn off tends to sound a little more extreme or a little more strong, like, I'm really turned off by that. I really don't like that. Whereas put off sort of means like, I'm not feeling as great as I was before. So it's a little bit less extreme than turn off in these cases. So I hope that this helps you understand the differences between put off and turn off. Thanks so much for an interesting question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Denchik Irishka. Hi, Denchik. Denchik says, hi, Alisha. What do you always say at the beginning of live streams? Roll in or rolling? What does it mean? Yeah, good question. So I always say, I think we're rolling at the beginning of live streams, which means recording. So we use the word rolling in video and sometimes, I guess, other kinds of like web media to talk about recording. So rolling means recording, or the video is going at this time. That's what it means. So I usually start this to say like, I think that everything is okay. It's kind of like a check-in phrase that I use with the team to make sure that everything is going okay. So that's what I say at the beginning of every weekly live stream. So thanks very much for sending this question, and thanks for joining the live streams. If you have not been joining the live streams, come check it out every week. So find it on the YouTube channel, of course. Okay, let's move on to your next question then. Next question comes from Alisha Egorova. Hi, Alisha. Alisha says, Salut, Alisha. Could you explain, is make up for a synonym for compensate? Yeah, super great question. The answer is sometimes. You can use make up for and compensate in the same way sometimes. So here's an example of a situation in which you could maybe use both of them. Let's say you are hiring someone new at work. You are looking for a new person to join your team. And you have this candidate, and maybe she has lots and lots of great qualities, but very little experience. Maybe she's very determined, she works hard, she goes for the next new thing. No one has to tell her what to do. She has good initiative-taking qualities, but she doesn't have much work experience. You might be like, this person seems interesting, and what she doesn't have in work experience, she makes up for with her initiative, like by taking initiative. So you're saying this thing is not so great, but even despite that, even though this is the case, she has all of these other qualities that make her really, really attractive. So even though there's these other things, this is what make up for shares with compensate. So compensate also has this meaning of one thing is not so great, but there's this other thing that makes it actually kind of okay. Things kind of balance out. So to use compensate in this kind of sentence, we might say, she doesn't have a lot of work experience, but she compensates for that with her great initiative, by taking lots of initiative. So in this sense, compensate and make up for do have that meaning of one thing kind of outbalancing the other thing. So it kind of shows us that even though something's not perfect, there's this other quality that's really, really valuable. So you might see this in like interpersonal connections. You might see this when you're apartment hunting or job hunting and so on. So this is the sense in which make up for and compensate are used in very similar ways. However, there is one use of compensate that is very different from this. To compensate can also be used to mean to pay someone. So when someone does a job, they are compensated. So that means they receive money in exchange for their goods or services. So to pay can also mean to compensate. So this is a more formal vocabulary word that we use. Typically, we don't say, I got compensated today when we talk to our friends. That would sound really, really funny, way too formal. So we always say, I got paid today. That's the verb that we use. But in like official contracts, agreements, like job contracts, you will probably see compensation or like something compensate. That refers to payment. So make up for doesn't have this meaning, doesn't have this use. There is, however, the use of make up without for at the end, which means to replace a missed activity. So for example, in school, you might say, I need to make up that exam. I was gone on the day of the test. It means I missed that test. I need to do it at another time. So to make up something can mean to do something that you missed. Make up something else also can mean to create, to fabricate. Like you made up that story about your mom, didn't you? So there are a few different uses of make up, but this question focused on make up for, which does share that meaning with compensate. So I hope that this helps answer your question. Thanks very much for sending it along. All right, that is everything that I have for this week. Thank you, as always, for sending your awesome questions. Remember, you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alisha. That is a very long URL, so please check the link in the description for the official question submission page. Do not send your questions in YouTube comments or Facebook comments or Instagram DMs or in tweets. I will not see them. There are too many. So please send them to the official page. I will definitely see your question and I might choose to answer it. So I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode of Ask Alisha. Don't forget to like this video and of course subscribe to our channel for other updates like this one. Also check us out at englishclass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alisha and I will see you again soon. Bye!